Today we're concentrating on a topic which has been giving a few problems: the fitting and adjustment of the Rover 100 Cabriolet hood. Right at the start, let's say that the great majority of hood problems are created by people not following the correct procedure to raise it. All the door and quarter glasses must be lowered by at least 2 turns before attempting to raise the hood. As you can see in this demonstration, if you don't lower the glasses first, the rising hood will foul the quarter glasses on both sides and force them out of position. They won't spring back into place, and the hood seals will be damaged too. In addition, the cantrail seals will foul the door glasses and similar damage will result. So this program aims to show you the correct procedures to adopt when working on the hood. We're going to look at the subject in 3 parts. First, we'll examine removal and refitting of the existing hood. Second, removal of the hood and fitting a replacement. And finally, glass and seal adjustments. To remove the hood, place protective covers over the rear quarter panels and the boot lid, and lower all the window glasses. Release the hood catches and lower the hood. Remove the rear seat and squab, then remove the rear quarter trim casings. Working on one side at a time, remove the regulator handle, some of the seatbelt harness, and this screw holding the rear of the carpet retainer before you can release the casing. And when you remove this stud holding it to the squab panel, you'll also release one of the headlining attachment straps. You'll see this better when we refit it. Then release these headlining straps on both sides and remove these studs to release the headlining from the rear shelf. Partially raise the hood and carefully unzip the backlight. Make sure it isn't going to get creased. The hood and its frame are now ready to be removed. Unscrew all the Torx bolts securing the hood to the body. There are 4 on each side and 5 across the rear. Then zip up the backlight and lower the hood. Disconnect both hydraulic rams at the top and remove these 3 Torx bolts on each side which secure the hood pivot mountings to the body. Now you'll need a bit of help to lift the hood off. The pivot mountings are still located on a dowel on each side. Push one mounting inwards just enough to clear the dowel. Then you can lift off the whole hood assembly. If you're refitting the original hood, the procedure is almost the reverse of removal, but there are 1 or 2 important points to note. First, make sure the windows are still down. Then start by locating the hood pivot mountings over the 2 dowels and loosely fit all the securing Torx bolts. Now partially raise the hood to this position. Then it's important to lift it like this and hold it there while your assistant tightens the 3 Torx bolts to the correct torque. Tighten in the same way on the other side. Carefully unzip the backlight again, and with the hood still partially raised, attach it to the body by first loosely fitting the 5 Torx bolts across the back and then the 4 bolts on each side. Leave them loose too. Now fully raise and lock the hood. And then tighten all the hood bolts you just fitted, making sure the hood beading isn't trapped. You must also apply some sealer at these 2 points, where the hood meets the body. This is to make sure that exhaust fumes can't be drawn into the car. Release the hood again and zip up the backlight. Lower the hood, connect the hydraulic rams, secure the headlining to the rear shelf and attach these straps to the body, on both sides. Before you put the trim casings back, it's as well to check that the hood will raise and lower correctly, but don't forget, never raise the hood with any of the windows up. Raise and secure the hood, and then operate the windows and check that they all locate correctly against the hood seals. Seal or glass adjustment shouldn't be necessary if you're refitting the original hood, but if it is, we'll be looking at adjustments later in this program. If all is well, you can now fit the quarter trim casings. Remember to fit the third elasticated headlining strap when you fit each casing. It's held by the stud between the casing and the body. Then finally refit the rear squab and seat. To summarize what we've just done, the remove and refit procedure is pretty straightforward, but it's important to remember that when refitting, you must lift the frame as high as possible before you tighten the securing Torx bolts. And always make sure the window glasses are down before raising the hood. Next, we're going to look at what's needed to fit a new hood. In fact, the fitting procedure is just as we've already shown you, but the new hood doesn't have any window seals fitted. New rear seals and their carriers are supplied with the new hood. That's these seals for the quarter windows. But replacement cantrail seals and carriers above the door glasses aren't, and you'll have to take them off the old hood. We'll look at that in a minute. First, the quarter glass seals. The seal carriers are already fitted, and as you can see, they're adjustable in and out. So, raise and secure the hood, then raise the quarter glass fully and examine the gap between the glass and the carrier. It must be an equal gap of about 10 to 12 millimeters all the way along its length. So, adjust the carrier position if necessary and tighten the securing screws. Now fit the seals. They are handed, and if you're not sure which way round they go, you can always work it out from the hood you've just taken off. You'll need plenty of soapy water on the carriers. Then slide each seal into place like this. Next, the cantrail seals and carriers. As we said just now, you have to take them off the hood you've replaced. Once again, they are handed, and can be confusing if you mix them up, so we suggest you work on one side at a time. Carefully slide the seal out of the carriers, noting which way round it goes and how it is fitted. Then remove the two carriers and fit them to the new hood. Like the quarter glass carriers, they are also adjustable in and out. So with the hood locked in the raised position, raise the door glass and adjust the carriers to give the same 10 to 12 millimeter gap all the way along. Now partially lower the hood and using soapy water like you did just now, slide the seal into the carriers. Then do exactly the same thing on the other side. You'll also have to transfer these end seals from the old hood. You can check that you've fitted the seals correctly like this. Lower all the windows, then raise the hood and lock it into place. In turn, raise the quarter windows and check that they locate correctly in their seals. And then raise the door glasses and inspect them in the same way. If any of the seals are either forcing the glass out, or if there's a gap between the seal and the glass, you can then adjust the appropriate seal carrier in or out to correct the problem. As we mentioned at the start of this program, the position of all the window glasses can be adjusted, and so far we've assumed that they are correct. In fact, the glass positions are very carefully set up at the factory and should never need to be touched, but in practice we know it doesn't always work out like that. You may have to change a door due to accidental damage, or, as so often is the case, someone has tried to raise the hood without lowering the glasses first, which invariably distorts their position, particularly the quarter glasses, so they no longer fit correctly. You then have the problem of making the necessary adjustment to rectify the situation. So, in the final part of this program, we'll look at adjustments. What we'll do is to show you the complete procedure as it's done at the factory, to ensure correct glass and seal fits, so you'll be able to understand what's involved. If and when you then have an adjustment problem, you'll be able to decide which of these steps you need to take to rectify it. As you can see here, the factory adjustment procedure starts with the hood closed, but with none of the seals fitted. They've been left out at this stage because they might otherwise incorrectly position the glasses in the up position. Wind all the glasses down. First, check the door feature lines against the body and adjust the door position if necessary. There's no point in going through all the glass and hood adjustment procedure if you have to move the door later. Examine the position of this A-post seal carrier. It should be fully outboard, so adjust it out if it isn't. Wind the door glass fully up and shut the door. Examine the line of the glass relative to the seal. This is the key to the rest of the adjustment procedure, and you must get this right before doing anything else. Check first that the glass fits snugly behind the seal all the way up. If it doesn't, alter the height of the glass using these two adjusters. If it fits correctly at one end of the A-post but not at the other, alter one of the two adjusters to correct the parallelism, then recheck the height. Now check the inward tilt of the glass. It must just touch the seal all the way up. If it doesn't, check the cams on the glass channels like this. There are these access holes at the rear of the door for you to reach the adjusters. Slacken the rear cam and this adjuster screw. Make sure the glass is fully up. Then spin the roller on the cam while tightening the adjusting screw until the roller stops spinning. Tighten the adjuster one more full turn and tighten the cam. Check that the glass is taut. Then close the door and check that the glass is now correctly aligned to the seal. If not, you may have to adjust the cam on the front channel. The door glass is now correctly adjusted, and you can turn your attention to the quarter glass. Put the hood down. Slowly wind the quarter glass up and examine it for alignment to the door glass. It must be parallel in this plane. The seal must just touch the door glass all the way up, but not too tight. And the tops must be the same height. If there's a problem with any of these, there's considerable adjustment available on the mounting frame that holds the glass. Adjust it like this. Slacken all 6 fixings that secure the mounting. Wind the glass fully up and adjust the height first, aligning it to the door glass at the same time. Then tighten this lower rear adjuster and the top vertical fixings. Now turn the winder until the glass just reaches the bottom of the door glass. Move this adjuster in or out until the quarter glass just touches the door glass and at the same time gives the best alignment with the waist seals. Then tighten the bolt. Wind the quarter glass fully up and finally check that it also touches the door glass at the top. If it doesn't, alter the position of this lower front adjuster to ensure the quarter glass will fall behind the door glass. Operate the winder a few times and check that the quarter glass operates correctly, moves up smoothly behind the door glass, and fits snugly against it when it's fully up, but doesn't try to force the door glass out. When you're satisfied, you can move on to the hood seals. Don't touch any of the glass adjustments again. They are now correct, and any further adjustment must be confined to the seals. Raise and lock the hood and start at the quarter glass seal carrier. Examine the gap, just like we showed you earlier, and adjust the carrier position to give an equal 10 to 12 mm gap. Then fit the seal, wind the glass up, and check that it still slides up behind the door glass as before. If it doesn't, it means you've not positioned the seal carrier correctly, so you'll have to move it. Don't try to alter the glass to correct the problem. When you're satisfied with the position of the quarter glass seals, check the position of the cantrail seal carriers to an equal gap like before and fit the seals. Then close the door, wind up the glass, and check that it rests against the length of the seal without distorting the glass position. If necessary, adjust the position of the seal carriers, but don't alter the glass settings. That completes the glass and seal adjustments on one side, and of course the procedure on the other side is just the same. To finish this program, let's remind ourselves of the sequence we followed to make the glass and seal adjustments, because it's most important. The key to successful adjustment is the fit of the door glass to the A-post seal, and everything else follows on from that. First, check that the A-post seal is fully outboard. Then, align the door glass to the seal. Next, align the quarter glass to the door glass. Then the quarter glass seal to the quarter glass. And finally, the cantrail seal to the door glass. And one final thought. Never attempt to alter the position of these brackets at the front of the hood. They've been preset at the factory and must not be touched. That completes this training program on the Rover 100 Cabriolet hood. As we said at the start, most hood problems are created because the glasses are not lowered before raising the hood. So anything you can do to educate owners will help to reduce the problem and maybe stop them coming back a second time with the same complaint. It may help if you could have a word with your sales staff too. If they can demonstrate and emphasize the correct procedure to the owner before the car is driven out of the showroom, it might just save a great deal of customer annoyance later and save you a lot of trouble.